Welcome to Edom News. Today, we're exploring some powerful statements made by Nigerian activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore. Sowore recently appeared on a podcast where he shared unfiltered insights on Nigerian politics, his issues with Peter Obi, his principles from his days as a student leader with MKO Abiola, and the challenges facing the Igbo community. Here's what Sowore had to say and why his comments resonate with many Nigerians. Let's dive in. Why Sowore refuses a coalition with Peter Obi. To start, Sowore made it clear that he cannot form a political alliance with Peter Obi, the Labour Party candidate in the 2023 election. Sowore views Obi as part of Nigeria's entrenched political class, leaders who, in Sowore's view, prioritize their interests and excel at packaging their images rather than delivering meaningful change. In his words, "If I joined forces with Peter Obi, I would be compromising everything I stand for. I have spent years challenging the political establishment, and Peter Obi has held high offices without changing the system." He referenced Obi's former role as the vice presidential candidate for Atiku Abubakar, saying that this association with Nigeria's traditional politicians made it impossible for him to work with Obi. Sowore's stance is simple. He doesn't believe in a lesser evil when it comes to politics. For him, integrity and genuine change come from steering clear of individuals who've been part of Nigeria's non-performing elite. The story of turning down N800,000 from MKO Abiola. Next, Sowore recalled a pivotal story from 1993 when he was just 21 and leading a delegation as the University of Lagos Student Union president. They visited MKO Abiola, the presumed winner of the annulled June 12th election, to demand accountability and action after the election was overturned by the military regime. Sowore recalled how they entered Abiola's home unannounced, noticing a room full of politicians who appeared more interested in Abiola's financial support than his mandate. In a surprising moment, Abiola offered Sowore and his group N800,000, a significant sum back then. Sowore declined, seeing the money as a test of his principles. He believed those around Abiola were simply there for handouts and wouldn't stand by him if things became difficult. This encounter strengthened Sowore's conviction to remain unbought in his activism. Reflecting on the incident, Sowore said, "I told Abiola that many around him would betray him. They didn't truly believe in his cause." This experience would shape Sowore's journey as a principled activist in Nigerian politics. Why a revolution is necessary for Nigeria. In Sowore's view, Nigeria's problems are deeply rooted and require more than gradual reforms. They need a revolution. He believes that a major shift in Nigeria's political culture could only happen if a large number of Nigerians come together to demand change. He described how a critical mass of people could disrupt the status quo by sheer numbers, making it difficult for those in power to suppress the movement. Sowore explained, when a huge number of people are willing to act together, it becomes harder for any regime to control them. A revolution requires unity, and with enough people, there's power in numbers. However, Sowore also acknowledged that revolutionary movements often come at a cost. Any fight for change might have casualties, but the larger the group, the less risk each person faces. This is why a collective movement is essential for lasting change. Nigeria's foundational and institutional challenges. Another key issue Sowore discussed is Nigeria's complex history and the foundational problems that continue to impact the country today. He pointed out that the Nigerian police force, for example, was originally set up to protect the colonial regime's interests, not the people. He argued that institutions like the police and the judiciary have never truly served Nigerians, and reforming these systems would require addressing these historical injustices. He described these problems as both foundational and institutional. Foundational problems go back to Nigeria's formation under colonial rule, while institutional problems arise from the way power has been misused by leaders who are more interested in preserving their authority than in serving the people. The Igbo marginalization issue. One of the most sensitive issues Sowore addressed was the treatment of the Igbo people, a topic that many consider taboo in Nigerian politics. He described Nigeria's long-standing Igbo problem as a consequence of the Biafran War, which left a legacy of resentment and exclusion. If I were president, one of the first things I'd do is go to the southeast and apologize for the war, he said. Sowore argued that the Nigerian government has consistently treated the Igbo community as outsiders, a sentiment rooted in unresolved issues from the 1967-1970 Civil War. He pointed to Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, as an example of how the Igbo are often marginalized. Despite numerous court orders for Kanu's release, he remains detained. Sowore views this as emblematic of the systemic discrimination the Igbo face, which he believes must be addressed if Nigeria is to unite as a country. Sowore didn't shy away from discussing how this issue permeates everyday life and politics in Nigeria. He said that many Nigerians are told to be cautious of the Igbo, seeing them as a threat, and that this unofficial policy has fostered a cycle of mistrust that the nation can no longer afford to ignore. A call for unity and open dialogue. To wrap up, Sowore emphasized the importance of unity and transparency. He urged Nigerians to address these long-standing issues openly, rather than sweeping them under the rug. For Sowore, Nigeria can only make progress if its people are willing to discuss and confront its historical and institutional issues together. Real change comes when we are willing to face these so-called taboo topics, Sowore said. He believes that acknowledging Nigeria's foundational problems and historical injustices, rather than hiding from them, is essential for building a united country. Final thoughts. Sowore's vision for Nigeria may be controversial, but it's clearly rooted in a desire for transparency, justice, and genuine reform. His insights are both a critique of Nigeria's past and a roadmap for a possible future. While his uncompromising stance may draw both support and criticism, it highlights the need for honest discussions about Nigeria's most pressing issues. Thank you for watching EDM News. What are your thoughts on Sowore's statements? Can Nigeria overcome these foundational and institutional challenges? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more in-depth discussions and updates on Nigerian politics and social issues.